So thank you to everyone who has joined us to watch this video. We are joined by Jacob from Delta Logic, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the Amazon SP API. And if you don't know what all of those letters mean, hopefully you will by the end of the video. So Jacob, please take it away, and thank you for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me, Richard. And yeah, hello guys, nice to be here. I'm Jacob, co-founder of Delta Logic, a software agency where we build custom software projects mostly for different marketplaces. And we are focusing also for Amazon sellers. And today we'll be talking about SP API. I have a little bit of presentation, so I'll share my screen right now. Give me a second. Okay. Is everything fine? Like, can you see my screen right now?
Yep, perfect.
All right. So here a little bit of the intro about my company here. We are a team of 20 people. We are based in Berlin, Poznan, Munich, and Utrecht and Sofia. And yeah, we've been working with many various brands, also like universities like Yale University. And here we did like a custom project also related to Amazon research, which I will show you later on. Yeah, let's continue. So basically, you may ask, why do we do a custom software if there are so many products out there for Amazon sellers like Jungle Scout, Helium 10, and like many different like others. So basically, we realized that for bigger sellers who are also selling on different marketplaces and different channels like Walmart, eBay, there's no one solution that will fit for all of the needs. That's why we come into the play and build custom tailored solutions, as written actually here. We also do a lot of custom integrations for existing software. So if you're using the Jungle Scout, we can also integrate with that and basically help you with your pipeline that you're running currently. Yeah, here is a little bit also what we do. So integrations, web apps, a lot of different automations and data mining. So we are able to gather millions of data from different websites. I mean, including Amazon. We've been scraping like multiple ASINs and monitoring the prices over them. But yeah, let's jump to the actual masterclass. So in this masterclass, I'll be covering basically introduction to Amazon SP API. We'll go to the documentation and see what's up, what is it. Then I'll show you some examples of the data sets which we'll access using Python programming language. Python is a very popular programming language, but obviously you don't really need to use this one. It's just an example. You can also use JavaScript or like your favorite programming language. And then in the end, I'll show you the case study. So it's like a very short automation that you can actually code. It's also like the full video will be available later on, like an in-depth and tutorial. It's also available on the YouTube channel that I will show you. So in this short automation, we'll be getting the orders data from Amazon from the seller account and putting them to the Google Sheets. So it's also a very popular use case that we did for many sellers. I mean, obviously, Amazon gives you those fancy dashboards, but sometimes you just want to have your orders in one place, which is the Google Sheet. So I would say let's start. So first, we'll go to official Amazon SP API website. I should have it prepared here. Wait. Let me Google it real fast. So here. I don't know if you've been on this website, but basically, if you want to access Amazon API, this is the website that you should go to. So all of those third-party solutions that you are using, like again, Jungle Scout or like custom repricers and so on, those companies, they basically build the custom software solutions, or like their products on top of this. So whenever you want to start with using Amazon data from your seller account, you basically land up on this page. So this is the main page, and here they tell you a few things. So this API, you can use it in various ways. First one is basically to build your private applications. So those are the apps, those are your own custom integrations that you won't share with outside world. So for example, if you just want to gather your orders data like we'll be doing today, you create a private app and you build it and use it like that. And you don't, it's super easy, like registration just takes like a couple of minutes. You don't really need to do anything fancy here. But if you decide to build a product and publish it on a marketplace, then obviously it need to go through the review of people from Amazon. And here, actually, you can visit the Amazon Seller Central Partner Network and see what's out there. So if you also are searching for, let me just here click the account I have. So if you are interested, what are the applications out there that you don't know, you can also search for them here. So you have different categories. And you can, for example, check like different automated pricing solutions. Like, for example, there's Channel Engine. They are very popular. You can see that they charge around $150 per month. But there are many different that you can also start using right here. You can check what's up and see. So those are like, reprices, but again, there's much more. So for example, let's pick one more. Maybe some shipping solutions. Yeah, here there's also a lot of different ones. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's still a market for it. I mean, it's not that there's a lot, it's just 200, but taking under consideration that on Amazon, there's overall around 10 million sellers, there's still market for your own custom software solution where we as a Delta Logic can help you if you have your own idea. But anyway, let's start with some sample requests. But before we continue, let me just go back real fast. Let's go on this page again. So
I have a quick question for you before we move on.
All right.
Are there any other APIs that people can use, or is it just the SP API for sellers?
Regarding the like Amazon Marketplace, this is the only API currently which is available. So back in the days, there was the old API which is called here. It's called MWS, and it was actually like a SOAP request based. So it's like super old request types of the API. But over the last years, Amazon developers, they migrated it to Selling Partner API. And right now, basically, it's recommended to just use it. And it's based on the REST API. But this is the only API. And now here, I wanted to show you actually the documentation and see what kind of requests you can do, right? Because I believe that was also the question about like what data can you retrieve? And as you can see, it's actually everything that you can do manually with your account, you can also do it with the API. So you have different categories here. So for example, you have A+ content API, authorization API, catalog items API, fulfillment by Amazon API, finances, feeds, listings, orders, notifications. There should be also one for ads, advertisement. I don't think if I see it here, might be actually a different one. But yeah, I hope I answered your question here.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So again, now we are going to basically go through those different APIs using Python. So going back to here, as you see, there are multiple different APIs, and today we'll be focusing mostly on Orders API and Sales API, those two. But obviously, you can click on your own and just research it a little bit after this webinar. So I would suggest first going to Orders. So if you're actually researching the API that you want to use, you want to see the references and the model. The reference is like a short overview. What can you retrieve from the certain API. So as the name suggests, from orders, you can actually gather orders, and you can also filter it by different parameters. So here you have different operations, and the one that we'll be using is get orders. And here you have again the description, parameters. So for example, when it comes to orders, you have parameters like created after, created before. So those are the timestamps that you will be filtering your orders. You can even use like more detailed one, like last update before, and you have obviously like the description here, what it does. You can filter by status. You can also filter it by a different marketplace. Yeah, from buyer emails, and I mean, yeah, there's like plenty of different parameters. And also what's important here, but I think I'll show you this in code in a second, but I want to talk about marketplaces. So when you have your dashboard as a seller, usually you have to filter your orders for different marketplaces. So for example, you're selling in US, but you also sell in Europe, and then in Europe you have UK, you have Italy, Germany. So using custom software, as we'll do today, you'll be able to basically retrieve your orders and put it all together in one Google Sheet, one place. So this is like a very simple example of the integration that we did for one of our clients. Here on the other page that I clicked, so orders API, this is a model which is a little bit more geeky, so we won't go that much in a depth, but basically everything that we saw before in the references is also described here in a more programmatic ways for developers, right? So you have like this parameter name last update before with the description. Is it required? So it says it's not. It's like, this is in programming world, basically a description of the API. And now, so this is the first one. This is orders API. I would suggest we'll go to code and we'll try to retrieve it. So this is the Jupyter notebook. Basically, it's like a Python interface that we can code a little bit. So if we, for example, print hello, like this is already coding. If we type a is equal to 5 and we try to print a, we'll have hello and 5. Like this, those are just some sample programming lines. But now let's get to the meat and potatoes. So we'll actually import a couple of libraries. I'll simply copy it here because the purpose of this webinar is not to how to learn to code, but just to see how can we use coding and Amazon API. So here I'm using very nice library for Python. So basically, in order to use Amazon API, normally you'd have to create your manual request, which would take a lot of time. But developers from open source communities are like nice, very nice that they created the Python wrapper. So if we type Python SPA API, the first thing which will pop up here is this library that you can install. And this is like a wrapper that you can use on a Amazon API, and we'll be using it today. So going back, I already have all of the libraries installed. I'll just import them. And now here, I will simply also paste a couple lines of code and let you know what it does. So I have my keys already stored. Obviously, I won't show you this on the video. And yeah, if you want to use the Amazon API, you have to register as a developer. Now going back to my account, which is the seller account. Wait, let me just log in Seller Central. I'll log into Seller Central just to show you what I'm talking about. Here. Okay, so this is my Seller Central. I just created it. There's no orders or anything, but just to let you know what do you want to do is you go to develop apps, and here you have to create your own app and register as a developer. We won't go through the whole process here because it takes quite a time. We also offer this as a service in Delta Logic as a simple setup for private applications, but also I have it in a 30-minute video on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out, you can also just see after our webinar. I will let you know about the link. So I have this all process done. So we have access to our API right away. So I'll execute this line of code. And what it does is it basically reads all of the credentials that I set up from my Amazon developer account. Now, the next line of code is actually finally something that you can measure the, that you can see the results right away. So we'll be using the orders API as I described here. This is the endpoint basically. So orders get orders, and the wrapper does it automatically for us. So we don't really have to worry about it. We just type orders, we put the credentials, and we put the marketplace that I will be using. So this is our request here. And now, very simple, we'll be doing the request get orders created after. We'll be retrieving orders that are done after January 30th and before today. So let me just do this. So this is Amazon data, and let's display just 3 orders, just 3 sample orders. It's taking like here, I just executed. Okay. So now, as you see, we have informations from the API about the orders. You have a bunch of information. Again, it's all described in the documentation, but you have order ID, buyer information. Obviously, Amazon is actually hiding the emails because Amazon doesn't want you to contact to the buyer directly. You do it through actually Amazon. Yeah, and you have a bunch of other information. So order total, which is amount, you have currency code, payment method, information about shipping address. Yeah, there's another order and another order. And I just got 3 of them, but obviously if I delete this, I would get all of the orders which are done after this date. Okay, so those are the orders. Now, actually, I will show you. Yes.
Sorry, quick question on that one. Is there any way of making use of the email address that is provided by the API? Obviously, I know Amazon keeps the email address, but does it then track back to some sort of code inside Amazon that then can be used?
Unfortunately not. We had multiple requests of retrieving the information about the sellers because Amazon sellers would love to do some automations and send some offers and so on directly to the seller, but no, it's not possible. All you can do is just have this hash of the email, which is in the end useless, at least from our perspective. So yeah, but good that you asked. We had a lot of requests about that, but yeah, we couldn't do anything. Actually, let me show you one thing. So just as an example, again, retrieving those orders, there's a separate request that you can do. Let's say that you store those orders somewhere in your database and you want to get back to a certain order. There's also another request which you can do after storing those orders IDs, and you can get back to it. So here you can create, you can do a request called get order and just get this. Oh, sorry. There's a small error. Oh yeah, there's not. So you can also always get back to a certain order and get the details on it whenever you need. Amazon keeps this information. You can get back and actually retrieve historical orders. And this is another example of the automation that we did for a client. So you have different kind of reportings in your seller central. And if you want to get back your old orders history, like a basic reporting doesn't allow you to do that, right? But with this functionality, if you actually code it good enough, you're able to retrieve all of your historical orders from all of the marketplaces. So for example, you're selling on Amazon for 10 years and you want to get all of your orders in one place, you can do that actually by doing this custom coding here. All right, so this is one of the example. Now we will be doing a second example. Let me just go here back to documentation. So the other one that we'll be using is the sales. So here I want to check the orders metric request. So let's go to sales here. This API gives you information about sales performance. And we'll be doing a request called order metrics, which is here. So this will give you aggregated order metrics for given interval broken down by granularity. So let's do it. Again, I'll just simply copy and paste my code that I prepared for you, and I'll explain. So again, we are using this Python wrapper, so it's super simple. We are calling the sales API, and then the function get order metrics. Granularity is total. There are different granularities, and the interval is, let's say, I have to zoom out. So from the January to June, and obviously you can set the time. So here for this seller that I'm actually logging currently as, we have average unit price amount, $15, interval, orders that I did. So it's actually a lot, 76,000 orders item count, total sales that I did on this account, unit count, right? And again, you can change it. So for example, if I want to pick from February, it will automatically adjust to the arguments that I did. So it's like another basically API request that I did. Now let's do additional API that I'll be showing you that you can use for example, for monitoring different prices or certain ASINs. There's an API called product API. Product fees, product pricing. That's a good idea. I think it's called product pricing. So here, this API allows you to programmatically retrieve product pricing information or offer information for different marketplaces and for products. So in this case, you are not really retrieving information about your own sales, your own products, but you are able to retrieve information that you actually see. So this API is very good if you're building some monitoring tools. So again, let me paste the code that I prepared. So here we are using the products API, and for this one I prepared already the ASIN. Actually, I'll show you this Amazon US. Let me yeah, I think it was about the band. So here, this is a perfect example of the band I will be retrieving information about. So you have this band with the certain ASIN, obviously the ASIN you extract from the URL. And as you see here, you have a buy box winner, and this is the item which is worth almost $13, and you have different buy box sellers. And now we are able to retrieve this information right away from this moment. I'll show you how. So let me copy and paste. Actually, I had a PS5 prepared, but we'll change it to the band. So let me just paste the ASIN from this item here. Let me change this one. So we are using products API on US market, and we'll be using API called get item offers with the ASIN of this particular item, with the item condition new. And now this one gets really interested because here you have all of the information from this particular item at this moment, as I said. So offers. Here you have listing price. So this is a buy box winner. This is the amount. You have information about the seller, such as feedback count, seller positive feedback rating. You have a seller ID, which is actually very important. It's super hard sometimes to retrieve information about seller IDs. So also this API gives you this information right away. You can actually also study different sellers because of this API. Here you have another seller, obviously from the buy box. So I feel like we can identify very fast its amount 15.99 and the feedback count 900. So it's this seller. And as you see here, we have a seller ID right away from the from this API. So yeah, this is another level of this is another example of use case of the API that you can use. So now let's get back to our presentation. So those were sample requests of the from the API. And now actually let me show you a very simple automation that you can build using the Amazon API and Google Sheets API. I also prepared a code for you that will go through it. So here, this one is actually from also open source from, I mean, yeah, I will show you here. So this is the video I actually created on a YouTube that you can watch anytime also after our webinar. I feel like we can put the link to the description of this webinar somewhere, as it will be, if it will be as a video. So yeah, here we have a code for it. We'll be using the Google Sheets. So yeah, first of all, you have to set up Google Sheets API, which also takes quite a time. So we won't set up this in this short webinar, but let's imagine it's already set up. So yeah, here's the code, which will be doing very simple operation. It will be connecting to the Google Sheet. Wait, I have it here waiting for us. So we'll be simply connecting to this Google Sheet using this code. We'll be writing the header, which is the first row, and then appending all of the rows. Then we have code for Amazon order, because in this particular automation will be gathering the orders from the seller account and putting them to Google Sheets. So you have here basically the code part that is the most interesting. So first of all, we'll be connecting to the Google Sheet, writing the header, and then getting the orders from the API and appending them to the Google Sheet. So here's the function. I can like describe you like real fast in super simple way, words. So first of all, there's a function get orders from the SP API. We are logging to SP API. It's actually, this piece of code is very similar to the one I showed you before. So going back to here, it's actually this part. We are getting the credentials and log into the API. Go back here. Now, this also should be familiar for you. We'll be using the orders API. And here we'll be converting the response from Amazon into a Google Sheet. And like a special list that will be later on put to Google Sheet. So here we'll be gathering the orders just from last month. So just, yeah, just from like last 2 months. So just a couple of the orders, but let me maybe change it to, I don't know, February, so like January. So there will be more of them. Here, again, gathering the orders and then converting them to a special list. So here we'll be just gathering a couple of arguments, because that's also important. You don't want to store all of the information. As you see here, you have a lot of different keys, but they might not be relevant for you. So in this particular case, we'll be just gathering order ID, purchase date, order status, order total amount, payment method, marketplace ID, and a shipment service level category and order type. Just those arguments. Obviously, they are much more. And then returning them back. Then as we return them, will be just appending them to Google Sheets using our function, which was right here. Again, I know it looks a little bit hacky, but that's why we are not spending too much time here. Just a simple automation. I mean, as you can see, just hundreds lines of code. And this script you can easily deploy live. So you are gathering the fresh orders, for example, every day or twice a day. Now let me run the script. Let's see if this will work. So here we have the our Google Sheet here. Let me type Python script. I hope it will work. Start the script. All right, it's done. Let's go back here. So as you see, we retrieved information about the orders into very nice way, and you can have it here, right? And again, as I mentioned before, this is a super simple example, but with this custom coding approach, you are able to retrieve orders from multiple marketplaces or like from multiple seller accounts. So it's also very good for agencies. This is actually one of the requests that we have from one of the agency that we are working with. They are handling multiple different seller accounts, and they just want to see all of their data in one dashboard from multiple seller accounts, and basically using custom coding, you're able to do that. So that's a simple automation. Now going back to our presentation, I think that I can just tell you a little bit about different projects that we are working with for other clients, because obviously just showing you this sample of code or like API, it might not be enough to give you a whole overview of what's possible. So one of our clients, he's a seller that is doing arbitrage selling. And right now we've built a special custom solution just for him that he can see all of his products. He can automatically order products from different vendors and then put them on Amazon and sell, actually, and see which products are selling how, just because we are using different APIs combined together. This is the next one. This is not particularly about Amazon. It's actually a car auction platform, but just I wanted to let you know that what we do at Delta Logic is custom coding. And here we are building our own e-commerce stores, and we are integrating it with this web scrapers. And web scraper is basically a program which is gathering information about products from the internet. So here we are scraping 5 different car platforms and then putting them to this particular e-commerce. So it's like aggregating data from different marketplaces, kind of like this. Here, this one is actually about Amazon. This is a research project for Yale University in the collaboration of the Bologna University. In this particular project, we are monitoring multiple ASINs, and then those researchers, they have their own algorithms, and they are they are changing the prices of those particular ASINs to win the buy box. So here we are studying the buy box behavior, also using custom coding. Here, this is actually Amazon seller Dana, like it's a Fortune 500 client. They are selling gaskets, and for them, we basically also built monitoring solutions. We scraped a lot of competitors' prices within a certain time frame period. Here, we built a custom e-commerce, which is connected to ERP system. And here again, Amazon case. So here we are tracking, we are basically working with the Mannheim University, and we are investigating the behavior of the buyer. So what Amazon is doing, so you as a seller are buying this item, not the other one, right? So what we are doing here is we are tracking moves of the buyers. So whenever they are trying to buy some product, we are gathering all of the information. So where did they click? How much did it take them to buy a certain product and so on, we are scraping this real time and providing the data also to this research center. And yeah, just about overall custom integrations. If you ever would like to work with us, here's information how to start. Simply contact us. And I guess that's it. If you have any questions, I think this would be perfect time to do it right now.
Thank you so much for that. That was awesome, and it made me a little bit giddy when the code worked and everything appeared in the sheet. It's just exciting. Cool. Yeah. So we've got some questions here. Can you link the Amazon FBA calculator in the API? I understand it's outside of Seller Central.
Is it like a third-party software actually? Or what exactly is that?
Amazon have their own FBA price calculator on their website. I think this is what this is about, where you put in the like dimensions of the product and the price you paid for it and the shipping costs and all of that sort of thing. Something like that. Yeah. Is it possible to link that in the API?
Yeah, I mean, I've never used it. But I believe that, yeah, like basically whenever you have something already built in the website, this is also code. So you can easily connect those things together. If this is not an API provided by Amazon, also doesn't mean that you cannot do it, because this is also when there's a custom coding come into the play that everything is possible, right? So if there's already a solution out there as the calculator that you mentioned, we can also easily, not easily, but we can connect there. It shouldn't be the problem.
Okay, cool. Right, next question. I'm keen to automate a report that will be used to blend ED data of all orders reports, sponsored ads, and estimated Amazon fees to help me monitor my daily profitability. Is this something it's easy to do, or does it require a deep understanding of code and software development?
I mean, we've been working a lot with the order, because this is also a special kind of the API. I think it's, you mentioned reports, right?
Yeah, so the all orders report, the sponsored ads, and estimated Amazon fees.
Yes,
they're
yes.
They're all Seller Central reports, I think, yeah.
Exactly. The only thing which I don't like about the reports API is that it's limited for the certain time periods. So that's why I'd rather to work with the separate APIs. This is something I mentioned about the overall orders API. So there are two different ways of retrieving orders data. You can use the order report provided by Amazon and gather all of the data, or you can again just manually, not manually, but by code, retrieve all of the orders from the orders API. And then by doing that, it's a little bit harder to do because you need to do a lot of custom coding, but you're able to retrieve all of the historical data. And for this particular question, I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard. It all depends what do you want to do with the data later on, right? Because when you work with the data and you want to analyze it, then you are going a little bit more into data science field. And obviously, then you need to know math. And if you want to build your own AI, you also need to build your own models and so on. So yeah, now we are talking about what exactly do you want to build with that. But just retrieving the data, it's all I showed, right? So there's a library. You just need to create your private app, register to it, connect to it, retrieve the data. And then after that, you can use the software that I showed you, which is the Jupyter notebook, and you can play around with it here. So awesome. It shouldn't be a problem.
Cool. That sounds good. Yeah, so I suppose the second part of that question is, when you retrieve all of the order data, does it show you whether it's an ad sale or an organic sale or that kind of thing? Is there a way of, is one of those, is one of the vast list of pieces of data that it retrieves the type of sale that it was?
Yeah, I'm checking it right now. So we could actually check it together here, because I'm not like 100% sure. Like there is something called Amazon Ads API, which is like a separate API. But here you have the Amazon order API, right? And you have different kind of keys. So I'm not sure if any of those keys actually tell you if it's if this order was advertised. But if not, then again you have something called Amazon Ad API. Let me check. That we actually were also using for one client. So here, Amazon Ads API, and here you can retrieve all of the information about your ad spend on particular products and so on, but it's a little bit different than the API that we've been discussing today.
Okay.
So it would require a little bit of deeper research, but yeah, I believe all of the information is there.
Yeah, cool. Okay, next question. I understand that Amazon removed the complete shipping address of buyers. Is it possible to export that through automation? Question.
Actually, did they? Last time I was actually gathering orders. No, you have shipping address. I mean, again, I don't know if it's like complete, but here, just to showing you here, right? You have shipping address, you have city, country code, postal code. Just let's go to the another one again here. I'm not sure if it's like full. I mean, I believe it could be cut, right? But
yeah, it cuts off the actual street address by the look of it. Yeah.
So if it's cut, then yeah, I mean, again, Amazon tries to not show you all of the data, and if it's not in the seller central, if it's not in the API, I believe it's not possible to retrieve it in a simple way. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, because there's a lot of so-called also black tactics in programming world. Basically, whatever you see and it's accessible by the human eye, right? You can also get it through code, but it's not that stable. What Amazon provides you as an API, this is like a standardized thing. So this is like also what those third-party products provides you, because developers from Amazon maintain the API. So it means that whenever you build your own automation, your own software based on the API, it will work long term. But whatever you will build overall, like not using the API, but just some custom programming, it's not guaranteed that it will work like for a longer period of time.
Okay, cool. We do have 2 more questions, but I have a question of my own while I think of it. So obviously, because there's only one API, all of these software companies that have built a software piece that is sort of mass marketed, they're all using exactly the same data, right? So why don't they all provide exactly the same results? Is it just the way it's built? Or let's use, for example, Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, their estimated revenue calculator, for product research. Why don't they produce exactly the same figures?
Because the algorithm that they are, like, from the API, you're getting the data, right? But then what you are doing the data is basically, it's your own business, right? So in Helium or 10 or Jungle Scout, there are different developers that are building different algorithms, for example, to predict the price or like reprices and so on. So that's why they differs.
Okay. Right.
Because what you do in data, it's again your own business, your own algorithm, and that's the outcome. So they sell the outcome of their own work based on the data.
Okay, I've got it. Cool, thanks. So another one, from which report can we get the session percentage and buy box percentage that we can see from the business report? I guess that means from which like section of the API, right?
Yeah, so this is what we are, what I was showing, right? So that was a products API. Wait, let me show you here real fast. So you see the screen, right? Yeah. So going back here, based on this ASIN for this banned product, we saw that there's a total offer count. So there's 5 items. So there's 5 sellers selling the same band. And here you have all of the information about the buy box and the sellers. So I guess, I don't know if this was the question or.
Yeah, so it's from the from the product API. I think that answers the question.
Yeah.
Session percentage though, that was included, I think, wasn't it? But, so the duration that someone has the buy box, I suppose, is it? I don't know.
I'm not sure what exactly is session percentage.
Session percentage. Any update in the chat? But we'll come back to that one.
All right.
If you could tell us what the session percentage is. Anonymous question asker. I remember, so last question, I remember someone told me that the payments report from Amazon is hard to automate using the API. Is it true?
Payments report. I mean, there's no API called payments or like, oh wait, payments reports, because again, there's a special section API called reports, and this in particular reports, you have different reports that are accessible by sellers. And with this API, to be honest, I worked the least. I mean, we had just one custom order for it, where basically a seller wanted to retrieve all of the reports every month. But I don't think I can give you more information about this particular ones. Wait, what is the name of this report?
Payments report.
Payments. So here you have, let me check if we can. Yeah, the good thing here is the search. So let's check. We have vendor direct fulfillment payments. What else? No, I don't think we have much more information here. So yeah, for this thing, I can't really tell if it's hard or not. I would need to again work a little bit deeper.
Okay, so the answer to that question is it may or may not be hard. But yeah, I mean, likely the fact that it doesn't appear immediately means it's probably more difficult than some of the others, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Also, the fact that you have this documentation that I showed you right now at this moment, this was not the case like last year. Like when I recorded the tutorial on this short automation on YouTube, there was only a GitHub code, and then there was a GitHub issue with the main question with a lot of stars: why Amazon provides you with the most, like the worst documentation ever, right? Like it's the top one company in the world, and they cannot really make a good documentation. So overall, using this API is super hard. Like it's extremely hard, especially if you want to update your inventory. Also, this is the case why I haven't really showed you any of those kind of automations. Like if you want to reprice your items using custom coding, it's really, I would say, a hell of a job. Like it took me hours and hours to build the custom repricer. So that's why there's not much agencies that are providing custom coding. Those are just few, I would say, top companies like JungleScout and so on that are selling their knowledge and for the prices that they are selling, because it's simply hard to do because of the documentation that is written very poorly.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the sessions, session number of visits. So the number of visits in the buy box percentage.
I don't think this information is shown. Like how many times you clicked on the buy box, or what exactly?
On the business report, session number of visits.
Okay. So again, it's a business report. So maybe it's possible to check it somewhere, but definitely not in the API that I showed you, which was the products API. Then it's not.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So in the answer to the question, yes, it is possible.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, again, like for all of those very detailed questions, I would really suggest to going to the documentation that we are together and just get a little bit of the reading. I mean, all of our orders from our clients are super custom and customized just for them. And yeah, whenever we have a new automation idea, we first do like a consultation, so a couple of hours, what's possible, what's not possible, and then we actually are doing it, right? So for most of the question, I may not have the answer right away, but this is also what we do. Whenever you have such a question, just go to this documentation, click search, and then just read a little bit. Super simple, and there's a lot of information on this page.
Awesome. And of course, if you do want a personalized answer to that question, you can always have a chat with Jacob by going to Delta Logic and booking a call. Hey, there you go. That segued nicely into a little sales pitch for you. Any other questions at all? I can't see any more coming in. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for that. That was extremely interesting from the perspective of someone who has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, but it's always good to show actually what's possible, especially that Amazon has API. I mean, if they didn't have API, then it would be super tricky. We also scraped Amazon without API because Amazon is hiding a lot of information, as you probably know. I mean, data is a gold nowadays, and everyone is fighting for that. So yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's good that they provide it.
yeah, for sure. You've inspired me to give it a go. Which, I mean, if you can turn me, you can turn anyone. Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. It's super interesting, and yeah, I encourage anyone who wants help with this kind of thing to go and have a chat with Jacob. And like he said, in the description of wherever this video is posted, where you're watching it, I will put the link to that YouTube video where he gives us a step-by-step as well to doing it yourself.
Yes, it's actually it's setting up the developer account, Google Sheets account, doing those requests that we did in this webinar, but step by step, also with the link to the open source code on GitHub.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you, Jacob, for coming.
Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone.
Have a good night. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.